Let's talk the club. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk the club. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler Virtual Book Club, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube channel, the Let's Talk to Cutler. Let's spend these 1800 seconds together. And you all have caught me in my walking gear again. I just finished walking, so I am here in my walking gear. But I like this walking gear, you all, because it's my it's stuff from my alma mater, my undergraduate alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C. But if you're tuning in for the very first time, let me just say thank you all for tuning in and let you know that you've stopped by a place where we're not talking about somebody done me wrong. We're not talking about anything that's pessimistic, anything that's negative. This is where it is my hope every Tuesday that I can offer some inspiration. I can also offer some motivation. It's my goal, my hope, my prayer, my aim, my ambition to sometimes challenge us so that we know how to show up our best selves, even in the worst of situations, because life will give you those situations where sometimes you're just wondering what in the world is going on. But it is my goal that we will have conversations so we'll know how to show up our best self, even in the worst of situations, because life just happens. It does. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It doesn't mean that anybody did you wrong. It means life is just doing what it does. And so as life does what it does, it's our goal, our ambition to show up our best self and to make sure we respond in such a way that we're never embarrassed or ashamed about how we responded. And so that's the kind of conversations we've been having here. Last week we had a very I think it was an energetic and energized and passionate conversation about how to reclaim your peace. So if you missed that clip, make sure you go back and catch the clip on how to reclaim your peace. It was very dynamic, very lively. It really came from my heart. It came from my soul. And so I want you all to take a look at that one. And this evening, we're going to talk about how to renew yourself. But we talk about how to renew yourself. Before we do that, I just want to encourage those of you who are catching me for the very first time. If you have not done so, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And after you subscribe, click on the notification bell. It lets you know whenever I've gone live, like I am now. I'm live and in living color. And this it's not Memorex. That's old. But again, thank you all, those of you who've been with me for a while. And if as you come on over to the chat so I can see who you are. Make sure that you say hey or good evening to everybody to let them know that you're here, so I can shout out the LTTC VIPs. Also, because I like to see my friends. I like to know when you're here. I like to know when you're with me, because you all are such an amazing, amazing group of people. And I want to thank you all for not just spreading joy to me, not just encouraging me, but to even to the people who catch the replay, you all, and who will read the comments. There are people who catch the replay, they'll read the comments, and they'll send me a message through my email, or just send me a message even through YouTube to let me know that they were inspired, not only by what I had to offer, but some of the comments that you all make. So please, as you come in, make sure that you share your comments during the dialogue. Make sure that you share your comments, because I read those while we're chit-chatting. I want to shout out the LTTC VIPs right now. That's the Let's Talk to Cutler VIP list. And it just really means people who are logged in first. And so from my end, here are the people that I see, the first three. Now, don't you all fuss at me, because these are the first three people that I see who logged in. Andy Cutler says, let's ride. Linda Martin says, good evening, everyone. Paula D says, hello, everyone. And so I'm so thankful that you all are here. Come on in and let's chit chat. Let's get talking. I was reading something earlier today, which is not a quote from me, you all. I was reading this quote, and I want you all to tell me what you think of this quote. It's by Viola Davis, and the quote says, your purpose is not what you do. Your purpose is not what you do, but your purpose is what happens to people when you do what you do. Let that resonate for a moment. Your purpose is not what you do, but your purpose is what happens to people when you do what you do. I thought that was just a great reminder for me about purpose because a lot of times, as we are trying to make sure we are in purpose, we're looking at what am I doing? Why am I doing it? How am I doing it? But we don't always look at the end results of what we do. A lot of times, we're just so focused on ourselves. Am I doing this right? Am I getting this right? Am I doing this at the right time? Am I doing this the right way? And a lot of times, we forget that what we're doing, this life that we're living, we are meant to have an impact and an influence on other people. So your purpose is not just about what you do. And this is for those of you who are still looking for a purpose, even though you're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, and you're still looking for purpose. And you're wondering, what is my purpose? Why am I here? Why did God bring me here? Why did the Creator bring me here? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Stop looking at what you're supposed to be doing and ask yourself, while I'm doing what I'm doing, how is it having an impact on other people? What happens to them when I do what I do? Do I make them smile? Do I encourage them? Do I motivate them? Do I lift them up? Do I sustain them? Do I give them hope? Do I give them joy? Do I give them peace? Do I give them an extra push that they need? Do I give them an extra pull that they need along the road? Call it, listen, tell somebody, come on, let's talk to color, because I've already taken off on 10, but really I'm trying to help encourage and inspire and save somebody's life because we're holding on to threads these days and we're wondering, what is my purpose? Stop struggling with your purpose and ask yourself, am I having an impact on anybody? That's your purpose. That right there is your purpose. What are people? What is the impact? What happens to people when I do what I'm doing? When I say what I'm saying, when I show up how I show up, what impact does that have? Does that have on other people? That is your purpose. So stop looking at purpose as, what am I supposed to do? Mm-mm. Purpose is not what you do. I love this quote by Viola Davis. Purpose is not simply what you do. That's a part of it, but it's what happens to people when you do what you do. That's when purpose is fulfilled. And I want you all to take that. That's really not even the crux of what I wanted to chit chat about today. I really want to talk about, after I read this quote, I thought about, let's learn to renew ourselves. Let's learn to think differently. And so as I was looking at purpose and I thought about, let's think differently about so many things. And it means that we will sometimes have to renew our thinking and renew our minds and renew our hearts and renew so many things about us. And I thought, well, wow, how do we, what does it mean to renew yourself? How do you really renew yourself? I get it, because when we look at this whole notion of self-renew, it means that am I trying to improve myself? Or does it mean I'm just trying to bounce back? Am I trying to make a comeback? A lot of times, and I'll have to admit this, that in life, how many of us can really attest to the fact that we have gone through moments in our lives where we've just felt stagnant. You felt like you were in a pool called stagnation, or you've gone through difficult periods. You felt like there was one difficulty after another. And after all of those things, after being in a place where you were stagnant, after being in a place where things were difficult, sometimes you discover, you know what? I've got to bounce back, and I've got to bounce back better than I was when I went into this situation. So as an individual, it means I've got to make a comeback. I've got to show up again. I've got to steady my feet again. I've got to get on the course again. And I have to do it better than I was doing it when I fell into this place of complacency, better than I was when I fell into this place of being stagnant, better than I was when I fell into this place of what I call this difficult moment. So I get it. When we think of renewal, we think, this whole rebirthing. It means that something old has died and something new is born. Something new is coming on the scene. Well, we're getting ready now. Here we are in this what I call the last third of the year. I said it before. Here we are on this last third of the year where we're getting ready to celebrate the holidays, and the season is getting ready to change. We're getting ready to see orange and gold and red and brown and yellow leaves all on the trees. The season is getting ready to change. And season is getting ready to change, then we're getting ready for the holidays. The holidays are coming up, the time when we spend times with friends, the times when and with loved ones, the time when we are expected to show up our best selves. And for some of us, we have to put on we have to put on masks because we don't feel like, and I mean proverbial masks, where we don't feel like showing up our best self because our best self is somehow hidden behind all of the difficult moments that we've had. Our best self is sometimes hidden behind all of the heartache that we've had. Our best self is hidden behind some of the disappointments that we've had. Our best self is hidden behind some of the low self-esteem that we have. Our best self is hidden behind so many things. But how do we renew ourselves so that the true me, the true us shows up, and it shows up in a way that says, I'm back on the scene and I'm better than I was. I've had an opportunity to regroup. I've had an opportunity to reprioritize. I've had an opportunity to sometimes reinvent myself. And there are some things that we can do, you all, to make sure that we renew ourselves, that we show up, and we show up in a way where we are fulfilling and walking in purpose. One of the things that we can do is just it's what I read somewhere, but I also call it learn how to streamline your life. This is not a new concept at all. It means that there are some things in your life, there's some clutter in your life that you need to get rid of. There's some habits in your life that you might need to get rid of. There's some people in your life that you might need to get rid of or see less than you saw them before. Don't hold on to everything. What is it saying? One man's junk is another man's treasure. There's some things that may be junk in your life that could be treasure to other people. Go through your house. Look at the things that you have that you don't necessarily use and learn how to declutter. Maybe you get rid of shoes and clothes and books and some things. Just learn how to declutter. Donate them to charity. Donate them to Goodwill. Donate them to somebody. Learn how to do more with less. Declutter. Get rid of the things that you don't necessarily need. If you haven't worn it in 2 years, you probably don't need it. You might not even know it's there. But learn how to declutter not only your physical space, but learn how to declutter your emotional and mental space as well. So take this, I'm going into this last third of the year as a moment to remind yourself that I need to get rid of some things. I need to look at the things that are weighing me down. I need to look at the things that are proving difficult in my life. I need to look at the things that are causing me to be stagnant. I need to look at the things that are causing me to be complacent. I need to look at the things that are causing me to be stuck. I need to look at the things that are causing me not to move. I need to look at the people who are causing me not to move. Let me look at what I value the most. How much quality time do I spend with certain people? And those are the people I might need to gravitate to a little bit more. What do I really enjoy doing with my time? Maybe I need to do more of those things with my time. Let me take a look at my priorities. Let me reevaluate those things. Let me look at what I've committed myself to doing. Let me look at what's important to me. Declutter. Get rid of those things that are causing you not to do the things that are important to you. Get rid of those things that are causing you not to spend time with the people who really encourage you and motivate you and inspire you and lift you and push you and do all of those sorts of things. Learn how to declutter. It's time to reorganize. That's how you renew yourself. Let me reevaluate. Let me step back and see what's important to me. Maybe every day, day in and day out, I'm getting up and I'm going through the same routines, and I feel by the end of the day, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I go, whoo, and I go, whoo, but I realize I really haven't done anything that's so productive. Reorganize yourself. Get rid of some of the clutter. Commit yourself to some of the decisions that you put off. Sometimes we have all these goals and hopes and dreams and ambitions and decisions that we made, and we put them off. January, we came in January. We say, you know what? Here is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to commit myself to doing. And we make all these resolutions. Some of us didn't make resolutions. We just made goals, and we said, this is what we're going to do. Well, we did that in January. Here, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, and we're in September. It's time to commit to some of the decisions that we've put off. Let me now challenge those things that I call time limits. Oh, I don't have enough time to do this. Things that I should be doing, things that I want to do. I've said that I don't have enough time. But let me reframe my way of thinking. Let me reframe my attitude about those things. Even if you might have a hard time getting started, getting going, just get going. And every time a negative thought comes in, learn how for every negative thought, learn how to bring a positive thought. If you have to sit there until something positive comes to mind, if you have to just write down the negative thought and say, let me see how I can counter this. Declutter your mind with negativity. Declutter your homes with negativity. Declutter your hearts from negativity. Get rid of all of the negative stuff, you all. Declutter. Sometimes we walk in a cesspool of negativity, and we don't even realize it. And so as you're decluttering, it might be a good time to also start something new. Let me do something new. Let me do something different. Let me explore what I'm capable of doing. Let me explore my creativity. Maybe I need to go back to school. Maybe I need to take some classes. Maybe I need to learn a new language. Maybe I need to learn how to play an instrument. Maybe I need to learn how to do needlework. Maybe I need to learn how to change my oil. Maybe I need to learn how to, just whatever it may be. But learn how to do something new, because by doing something new, you're taking better care of yourself. You're committing to living longer and living better, living healthier. One of the things that I'm honestly afraid of is when people don't do things that are new. That bothers me. That worries me. And there's some of my loved ones, perhaps some who are catching this broadcast, who knows that when you don't do new things, it bothers me, because new things will stretch your mind, and new things will challenge your imaginations, and new things will cause you to focus on what you didn't once focus on. But learn to do new things and stop doing old things out of habit. Stop doing old things out of routine. But you grow when you do new stuff. I'm a firm believer of it. And I know I'll tell you that sometimes my family members will get tired of me saying that. I was just having a conversation with some of my loved ones over the past few days who watch the same thing on TV over and over and over and over again. And I said to one of my siblings, you've seen this show 5 times. In fact, you've seen this whole series about 5 times. There are other things. There are other things that you can watch. There are other things that you can read. There are other things that you can do. Because we get our minds, we get our minds and our thinking and our creativity in a rut. And we think it's okay, but it's not okay. You grow when you do new things. You challenge yourself. Let me look for something new. Okay, I don't know what to look for. I don't know how to look for it. Just flip the channel to something new and just sit there and watch it. Go someplace new. Go to a restaurant and eat something different. I don't know what's on the menu. We'll just chit chat, have a conversation with somebody. What is this? What's in this? And try new things. You're never too old to try new things. I remember I told you all, my grandmother, on the same bed where she died, she said to me, "You're never too old to learn." She was 97 years old, and she had the presence of thought to say, "You're never too old to learn. You're never too old to begin something new." That's how you renew yourself. A lot of times we get to the place where we think, "I'm too old to renew myself." No, you're not. No, you're not. There's something about setting goals and working towards them that charges your soul, gives you something to look forward to, gives you something to live for, something different to which you can aspire. So that is one way you can renew yourself, by saying, "You know what? I am going to begin something new. I'm going to do something different." And what does that mean? That means you're starting a practice. And I don't mean a business, but it means that you're starting the practice of something. You're being mindful about what you do and how you do it and how you show up and how you be. You're taking time out of the busyness or the routine of your daily lives to say, "You know what? Here is something that I need to practice. Here's something that I need to do. Here's something that I can dedicate myself to doing." Let me sure I practice gratefulness. Let me sure I practice thankfulness. Let me make sure that I practice self-care. Let me make sure that I practice self-love. Let me make sure that I practice self-help. Because when you focus on your mind, your body, and your spirit, your day is filled. Your day can be filled with so many different things. Let me take a walk. Let me eat better. Let me look at something different. It's that when you engage yourself in the start of a practice and you start practicing something different and you say, oh, this is good. I can do something new. I can do something different. I can go and take a few classes. I can take an exercise class here. Take a walk there. But this is how you renew yourself. You engage in the practice of doing something. You begin something new. And you learn to declutter yourself. You learn to declutter your home, your space, your environment. You learn to do all of those things. And that it really, really helps. As a matter of fact, you can get in the practice of just taking a walk. That's why you all catch me looking like I'm looking, because I haven't walked in a while. So I was out walking, and and this is what I was walking in. But you go and do that. You maybe start gardening if you have the wherewithal, the space to do that, if you like it. Maybe you travel, you take a trip, you go someplace where you've never gone before. You drive, take a new route to get to where you're going, but go on a different route. Do something that's different. The point of it all is to find that there is a newness that you can discover. There's a newness within you. There's a newness within your environment. There's a newness within your surroundings. Discover the new. There are new foods, new places, new people, a lot of newness. That's how you renew yourself. Renewing yourself is a choice. It is a choice. And may I suggest to you that it's not lost on me that it takes courage to renew yourself? Because to renew yourself, to renew all of those things about you, means to go outside of the box where you currently reside. It is a choice. But yes, it does take courage, and I get that. And I encourage you to seek the new. Seek to renew yourself. Because in renewing yourself, what does that mean? That means then that you are identifying the purpose for which you are living. You're recommitting to the values, the things that are important. You're committing to going beyond where you are so that you can discover what is beyond. I just want to, I'm offering this to people who sometimes feel stuck, and to people who feel like their lives are dull and their lives are routine, and they feel like they lack purpose, and they feel like they are lost in boredom. It's time to take control. It's time to take control, because sometimes we lack self-awareness. We lack self-renewal. And we sit in these empty spaces. We sit in these empty spaces and we let the world just go by without really renewing purpose. Can you imagine how better of a world it would be if we all walked in purpose? If we all walked on purpose? If we were all aware of the impact that we were having on other people, if we were concerned about the impacts that we were having on people, if we wanted to make sure that we were getting positive responses from people when we do what we do, when we show up like we show up, when we say what we say, that's what purpose is all about. And I want to speak to us about renewing ourselves so that we can walk in purpose. Because for some of us, by the time we reached a certain age, we framed our lives and we said, that's it. That's what it's going to be. So by the time I get into my 40s or my 50s, that's it. That's what my life is going to look like. But may I challenge you to say, if you are still here on earth, If you are still here on earth, imagine something beyond your 40s and your 50s and your 60s. Imagine all of us walking in purpose. Imagine all of us concerned about the impacts that we were having on other people's life. Imagine, thank you, Linda, imagine what the world would be like if we were concerned about making sure that the way I show up brings about a change, a positive change in somebody's life. Imagine, just imagine that. So why don't we commit? Why don't we just commit to renewing ourselves? Commit to saying, nope, I am not going to do everything the same old way just because. And I'm not going to be burned out. I'm not going to sit aside like an old piece of metal. The other night, maybe it was last night on the TV, I think there was this Wizard of Oz marathon or Wizard of Oz, something that was on TV. And I just glanced at all of 5 minutes, the scene with Dorothy and the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion. And I thought for just a moment, wow, that poor Tin Man. Poor Tin Man, how sometimes we can sit in the midst of what seems like an element or our element in our environment and we rust. How many of us, oh my God, how many of us are just sitting and being in the space where we are and we're rusting? Some of us are rusting from the outside in, and some of us are rusting from the inside out, but we're sitting in our spaces day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And to some degree, we're doing, but we're not doing all that we could do. And we're slowly rusting. And some of us are just waiting until we rust to the point of becoming brittle and falling apart. Or we see it's happening. But we have to get going. We have to get moving. Thank you, Linda. Linda says, I used to tell my dad that just because he was old didn't mean he couldn't be of use. And that is so very true. And it frightens me to think that sometimes we reach a certain age and we think, this is it. All of my usefulness, not youthfulness, we think all of my usefulness is gone. But that is not the case. While there is breath in your body, there is usefulness. There is usefulness in your presence in the earth. And it is my desire to challenge us this evening to say, how can we cultivate self-renewal in such a way that we stay engaged in life? I fear that some people, some of us, we are no longer engaged, but we're sitting idly by and we're just letting life go. And we've reached a point where it's okay. My time will come. But all of our times will come. And yes, stuff happens. And there are things that we cannot avoid. There's some things that we just can't avoid. But we can change how we respond. We can change how we show up. We can actively say to ourselves, let me renew my heart, my mind, my goal, my soul, my spirit. Let me make sure that I'm doing what I'm doing so that I'm walking in purpose. Let me make sure that I set out in life to be interesting, to be powerful, to be impactful, to be motivating, to help somebody else. One of my favorite songs is, if I can help somebody as I pass along, then my living will not be in vain. Can I tell you, if you help somebody as you pass and as you're passing along, you're walking in purpose. I just want to challenge us this evening, this afternoon, just to renew who you are, recommit to being the best you as long as you're here. Understand that there is purpose in you. There's possibility in you. There's so much inside of you. You really have the wherewithal to make somebody else's life a little better, to make somebody else's life a little more cheerful. purpose. It's not what you do, but it's what happens to people when you do what you do. Recommit yourself, renew yourself, so that you know without a doubt you're walking in and on purpose. I hope this conversation has challenged you this evening. I want to encourage us all to keep doing what we do, y'all. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Let's make sure that we keep our heads up, our hopes up, and let's make sure that we say to ourselves, as I'm going into this next season of the calendar year, so will I go into another season of renewing who I am. So will I go into another season of making sure that I'm clear about my goals and my values and the things that are important to me. As I go into this next year, let me make sure that I'm clear about why I do what I'm doing. Let me make sure that I'm clear about why I do what I'm doing. Well, all right, you all. Thank you so much. I'm just reading these last couple of comments. Yvonne Jones says, thank you for showing me how to renew myself. I really needed this. Andy Collins says, I have a need to help someone. Keep helping people. Make a difference in people's lives. Yes, we all need somebody else from time to time to show us how to do what we do. Thank you all for allowing me to come into whatever space you've allowed me to come into. I appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted. I honestly don't. I want to thank you all for your encouragement, your support. Let's keep doing this, y'all. Know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. And until the next time we talk, do me a favor, tell somebody else, come on and let's talk to Cutler, because the man is just trying to help save somebody's life. I'll see you all the next time I see you.